Hello and welcome to the Weight Free Wellness Podcast. I'm Tara Bachland, and today's episode is how to prevent and naturally remedy a hangover. Now, this podcast is going to sound a little bit different because it's actually from a live event that I did just the other day. It's a live webinar and Facebook session, so it's going to sound a little bit different. I just want to give you that heads up. And I really enjoy I really enjoy interacting with you. So this was a lot of fun for me. And also just generally on social media, hit me up and tell me what you're interested in and what you want to hear more about. This post, in addition to be centered around St. Paddy's Day, which at the time of this recording is actually tomorrow, but it's also in response to some questions that I've gotten about this topic, how to naturally remedy a hangover or prevent it. So again, I love interacting with you, love to hear what you want to hear more about, and meet your needs and desires in that way too. Also, if you're not the type to really party, as you could say, these tips are generally going to help anyways, just to maintain a healthy body and also to naturally cleanse very gently. So even if you're not the partier type, stay tuned. You can still really benefit from these tips. And also at the end of the podcast, I do mention about the body types. And I think I forgot to mention that at weightfreewellness.com, you can take the body type quiz. It's simple. It's a lot of fun. You'll learn a lot about yourself and the foods, exercises, and the habits that help to balance each body type. And lastly, if you really enjoy online free event kind of stuff, which I do, it's really nice to be able to have interaction and have Q&A time. Make sure to go to weightfreewellness.com and subscribe to the newsletter, and I'll make sure you're updated of future free events like that. So I think that's it. That's all that I wanted to make sure to share with you and tell you. Oh, one more thing. You can, of course, still go to weightfreewellness.com, and this is episode number 54. So if you want a visual reference and some of the links to the products that I'm talking about, just go there, and that should do it. Otherwise, listen up. These are some really great tips, and take care. Be safe, everybody. If you're in the party mode over these holiday times, have fun. So tonight we're going to be talking about how do you prevent, and if you happen to have a hangover, how do you naturally remedy that hangover? So I have some tips for that. And so we'll get started here in a minute. I'm going to switch over to some of my notes here. So, I teach about health and wellness, and health and wellness is a very important topic. Of course, we all want to maintain our health, and I would say that the majority of us also want to really live our life and have fun too, right? And for a lot of us, that does mean on occasion to enjoy a glass of wine or a glass of beer or a bottle, however you drink it. And so how do you do that and also maintain some of your health aspects? And to me, that really means a lot about what you do on a day-to-day basis. And so here are some things that you can do on a daily basis, and then also in that time when you are in party mode, okay? So I'm definitely not here to lecture or do any of that. We already know that when you're intoxicated, that means that you have toxins in your body from the alcohol, right? So we don't need a lecture on that. Health and wellness, the health and wellness realm actually specializes in how to detoxify. Ironically, the allopathic realm, many of their treatments actually toxify the body even more. So natural health and wellness really specializes in how to detoxify the body. And so I'm going to share some of those things that can be really helpful, especially when you are in the party mode, okay? So I'm definitely a proponent of enjoying life. I think when you are having fun in life, that you are definitely you are flowing, you are enjoying things in life, and so I am definitely not a proponent of being a an antagonist or saying don't do this or don't do that. I'm much more of a person who likes to aid. Hello, Laura. Good to see ya. Likes to aid people along the way. So here are some tips on how to, and these are tips too that are just going to help you in your daily life. Even if you're a person that does not, maybe you're the busy mama like Sarah who just joined in, who is like, I know I'm not going to have an alcohol hangover, but I might have a late night hangover from being up with the girls. That might be the case. These are definitely tips that you can carry across in those realms too. So beforehand, what you want to do is definitely prepare your body, and you can always help your body by drinking plenty of clean water. Now, the standards for what are clean water are always changing, right? We hear, drink this kind of water, don't drink that kind of water. And I'll tell you real quick what I've learned, and I have to drink a sip of water in the meantime. So earlier in the year, we were ordering water from a source where you could get natural spring water. It was actually Mountain Valley spring water, which I think most, so we're in the Minneapolis-St. Paul suburbs, so you can get delivery of this Mountain Valley spring water, which is actually from Arkansas, from a natural spring. Now, it does get pretty spendy, and so what we found has been actually working lately now is a filtration system called the Berkey system. The Berkey has been around for a long time. Long time. Missionaries have used it for many years to filter out even waters that have had bacteria and so forth that have been actually very deleterious for the local populations. Without getting into a water talk, I'll just say check into the Berkey system. We've been using it lately, have not done a follow-up test of our own water, so that's something to look into, but they do now have fluoride filters, which is what we've had a Berkey for a long time, but we hadn't used it because we have city water. But now that they have fluoride filters, we have been using it. So that's definitely something to check out, and is definitely comparatively very reasonably priced, especially for the filter replacement costs. So that's number one. Make sure you're drinking at least half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 150 pounds, that would be 75 ounces a day. Hey, Janelle, good to see ya. So that would be 75 ounces a day. That's a little over half a gallon. Now, that may seem like a lot. And also on the Weight Free Wellness website, I have just posted a recipe for refreshing water. I have a couple of ways to help you find ways to drink water that are more refreshing and easier for you. Now, I've been drinking water for years. Here's the funny thing. I didn't drink water until I actually really met my husband. And so I say kind of jokingly that I didn't know about drinking water until I met my husband, right? I had lived in Brazil for a year. You definitely did not drink out of the tap in Brazil. And so it was pretty normal for me. But it's so important. It's absolutely amazing the difference when you drink enough water for your body. Now, of course, if you're working out regularly, if you're pregnant or nursing, of course, you want to drink much more water, but at least you're half your body weight in ounces. And if that's trouble for you, please look in my recipe section at Weight Free Wellness. I have a recipe for refreshing water. Use therapeutic grade essential oils. Make sure if you are using essential oils, use a glass bottle or a stainless steel, not aluminum. Because the oils can actually degrade the plastic in your bottle, and you'll end up consuming the plastic. And aluminum is a neurotoxin. Stainless steel is better, but glass is above all the best for sure. So that's just a quick tip. I'm trying to keep this short, but these little topics get into so many areas. If you have questions along the way, let me know, and I'll make sure to get to them at some point here. And I'll try not to get too distracted. Second of all, I'm going to drink another drink of water. I'm not a big talker normally, but doing all the podcasting has certainly helped. So I have to get my vocal cords warmed up to this. So if this is just for normal health and wellness, maintenance and so forth, this is going to help you. But if you know that you're going to be in the party mode over St. Patty's Day or any other time where you may be drinking a little bit more, I would definitely recommend these tips. Now, this is not medical advice, but this is definitely recommendations from experience, you could say, and some studies here for sure. Now, the other thing is taking cleansing and nutritive supplements. Now, there are so many supplements on the market, and I'm trying to keep this simple here. So a few supplements that can really, really help that are natural cleansers anyway are a supplement called chloroxygen. Now, typically, if you see this on the market, now I have a link for this that will be in the post for this. So later tomorrow, I'll have this podcast posted and it'll have show notes and it'll have a link to this product that I'm talking about. But chloroxygen is normally promoted as a product that helps you to boost your red blood cell count. So if you're normally low in red blood cells, you have a low hemoglobin count, or if you know you're going into the mountains and you're going to be, doing a lot of activity and you don't want to get short of breath, typically this is what that product is for. But I'm going to kind of encourage it in a different way. Now, it's made from the plant called nettles. And nettles are naturally very cleansing. And nettles, if you know anything about them, they kind of have little spikes on them. And that is a doctrine of signatures in the herbalism realm as something that can help with the liver. These just kind of jagged plants like that. So it naturally builds up the red blood cell count, and it also is very naturally cleansing. I actually like to take it every spring, and it helps to naturally cleanse my body. So what this can do is it helps to naturally prepare your body to be in the mode of cleansing and preparation. So that's one that I like. Also, if you want a natural green food dye, that is a terrific one to use. So something to note is if you are drinking this chloroxygen, that it can stain your teeth. You want to rinse with some water. You want to make sure you don't get it on your clothes unless, of course, you're wearing your lovely green St. Patty's Day shirt. You want to make sure to not drop it on anything because it is very, very green. And it tastes like sweet grass. I think it tastes better than wheat grass. To me, it's a little bit more pleasant, and it's very naturally nourishing and cleansing. So that's one that's really helpful, I think, preparing your body like that. Similarly, a supplement that's more like a food nutrient rather than a vitamin or a supplement are chlorella and spirulina. Chlorella has actually been studied and is known to maintain your blood glucose levels, your fasting blood glucose levels. So it's a great preparation too, as you know, if you're going to be consuming a lot of alcohol. Many alcoholic drinks also have a lot of sugar, so your blood sugar levels are going to be going up and down. So if you can prepare your body to stabilize more, that is a great preparation. So on a similar note, you want to make sure that you eat well before you go out and party, okay? So we're of course talking about St. Patty's Day, natural prevention for hangovers and natural remedies. I'm going to drink my water again. That's a good reminder. Of course, water is the best, if not one of the best remedies that you want to make sure that you have on hand. So drinking plenty of water is very important. Now, eating, of course, if I think anyone of my generation and younger, we had it really just shoved into our brains. They were saying in health class, they were saying, make sure, was it health class or was it driver's ed? Maybe someone else will remember. But they're saying, make sure that you're eating plenty of food because that absorbs the alcohol. And I think they're particularly talking about carbohydrates, like the bread acts as a suction to suck up the alcohol. And I would actually propose a bit of the opposite, that it's actually protein and fat and complex carbohydrates that help to prepare your body, keep it more level, so that as you consume the alcohol, which usually has a lot of sugar in it, your blood sugar levels are keeping more level naturally. So I would really encourage you to, before you go out partying for St. Patty's Day, have a very protein-rich, fat-rich, and complex carbohydrate-rich meal. So that could be something that I like are eggs and scrambled eggs with Asparagus is a good one. You could also do like a Chinese dish would be a really good dish. Usually they have, the protein, the vegetables, and some rices in there, which is not complex. It's usually more simple carbs, but at least you're getting, if you're getting more veggies in there, that's really good. So do something where you're getting a lot of fat, a lot of protein, and the complex carbohydrates. So as opposed to simple carbohydrates, which would be the breads, potatoes, the root vegetables like carrots and potatoes. Those have more sugars in them, which you're going to be getting plenty of sugars typically anyways when you're having, you're enjoying those St. Paddy's Day festivities. So I would say definitely stick to the fats, the complex carbohydrates, and the proteins. So let's move on to what you would do next. So St. Paddy's Day, again, Weight Free Wellness is definitely about enjoying life. I know that people are going to be out there just enjoying St. Paddy's Day anyway, so I'm not about lecturing about why not to do it, but why to, and how, most of all, how to support your body. And the great thing is that these are things that you can apply in your daily life that are going to help support your body along the way. So during the St. Paddy's Day, or any time that you're enjoying in those festivities, drinking and otherwise, here are some other things that you can do during to make sure that you don't get that hangover. So, of course, pace yourself. And that's easier said than done, right? Because once you start in that party mode, it's so easy to keep going. And so it's really important to really make a commitment beforehand and how much you're going to enjoy and how much you're going to let go. Hey Lee, good to see ya. So pacing yourself is really important. So making a commitment, how much you're going to allow. Hey Karina, good to see you again. Boy, these Brazilians are just joining in on this chat. It's so cool. Brazilians really know how to party well, though. I think that's part of it. So it's not just the Irish that can claim St. Paddy's Day types of celebrations. So pacing yourself is really important. Making a commitment beforehand of how much you're going to enjoy in the festivities. Now, I believe you can totally enjoy the festivities and actually be conscious and aware and fully present for all of it. And the big thing is about pacing yourself, okay? So commit beforehand how much you're going to allow per hour, and be careful, and I'll get into this more later, but how much you allow people to really egg you on. And there's certain personalities that will do that. So let's move on, because I'll get into that a little bit later. So we're talking, of course, about how to moderate, how to prevent really bad hangovers and naturally remedy them afterwards, of course. And you saw me take a sip of water. Water is a big part of that. So I would say also during the festivities, avoid the green. Now, this will be different than later, where I'll encourage you to take the green, but avoiding the green is what I mean is the green beer, essentially. They're using artificial dyes, and artificial dyes are connected with neurotoxins, to being neurotoxins. Now, in the US here, we're not as strict. In the European Union, they actually restrict or omit many artificial dyes that we still use here in the US, and those that they do permit still in the European Union, they have labels that really advise against, not necessarily advising against, but warning that they can cause adverse reactions in children, particularly hyperactivity. So to me, that's really showing the evidence that they do affect brain health. So I really encourage people to avoid any kind of artificial dyes. Again, if you are making something yourself for St. Paddy's Day that you want to dye green, use the chloroxygen that I mentioned before. It's a natural supplement. Normally is what it's used for, but it's actually the juice of an herb called nettles, and it has a slight, really sweet grass kind of taste. To me, it tastes better than wheat grass itself, and you can use it as a nutritive supplement, but also just simply as a food dye. Works great. I know it works great in dyeing my teeth green, so it for sure would work great in dyeing your cupcakes or whatever, or even your beer, whatever you're making. just make sure to rinse your teeth. But I definitely wouldn't recommend drinking anything that's made with artificial food dye. It just adds to the chaos what's already going to go on with the alcohol in your brain. So I could talk so much longer about that, but I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to talk about water again. So alternate with water. If you want to prevent a hangover, and definitely if you want to remedy a hangover, water is the key. And so I mentioned it in the before remedies, but also the during. Make sure you're drinking water. And the good way to do that is for every drink that you order that's alcoholic, make sure you order a water, not a juice, not a soda. Make sure, hey Amy, good to see ya. Make sure that you're ordering something like specifically water, even if it's a sparkling water, that's going to help your body to filter out. Water is so key. It makes such a huge difference. The more water you drink before and during, especially, the more you're going to prevent that hangover. And every time I talk about water, I just get thirsty, so I have to drink some. So now, honestly, I could list 10 things in each of these categories, but I'm trying to keep it simple and basic on what's really important here. So I'm going to move on to what's next. What would you do after? What would you do once you wake up and you already know that you're going to have this, or you have this hangover, okay? So first of all, I'm going to say follow any of the above tips. Anything that I mentioned above, go ahead and use. And I realize that everybody's way of experiencing, hey Brian, good to see you. Everybody's way of experiencing a hangover is different. And so I tried to provide a bit of a variety of remedies here that it could, so a little bit of everything, there's a little bit of everything there's something for everybody. That's what I was trying to say. So everybody experiences a hangover differently. So remember how before I said avoid the green drinks? And the green drinks, I mean, of course, those green drinks with the artificial dyes. Now, in the after section, I'm talking about do drink the green drinks. Now, what I mean by that is, now this is going to take some preparation, so it's good that you're watching this beforehand. Get some wheatgrass, or hopefully whoever's house you stayed over, whatever, maybe there was a Whole Foods or something next door and you can get your fresh wheatgrass shots or something like that. But try to have your green shake. Now, hopefully you can hold food down. So hopefully you can hold something down. If you can, or when you can, have a shake, have some kind of combination like that you can hold down but has really good nutrients in it. So wheatgrass, kale, of course, there's lots of green powders, nutrients like that. Hopefully you can prepare, or you have already have these things on hand so that you can prepare these the next morning. Realize that may not be the case for some people, so hopefully here are some other tips that hopefully you have these things on hand. Now I realize, at least for me, if I have a hangover, I know how good water is for me, but I just simply have a hard time drinking it. For some reason, I drink water like nobody's business otherwise, but if I've had too much to drink otherwise, it's really hard for me to drink water. So I try to get it in other ways, and here are a couple of the other ways that I do that. One is with sparkling water. For some reason, just like the fizziness, it just helps. It feels like it's something totally different than regular water. And so sparkling water with lemon or lime or mint. And it's not just for flavoring that I'm suggesting those, the lemon, lime, and mint. Those are actually really good remedies for the liver. And as we know, excess alcohol consumption can really affect the liver. And so by going ahead and supporting the body and the function in the liver in particular, you can really help things along the way. So it tastes good. It helps get water into your system, which helps in the filtration and detoxification process. And you're enjoying something. You're getting things going in your body. And that's the big thing. It's so easy to just kind of get stagnant, like, oh, I don't want to drink or do anything. Now, the next thing, because again, water is so important. If you just are simply not able to consume water, take a bath, or at least a foot bath. Get a pan of water. Epsom salts are great because usually, especially if you've had a meeting with the porcelain gods, and you know what I'm talking about, I hope. if you've had that kind of experience, you'll want to get those electrolytes back in your body, which are of course, the vitamins and minerals in particular. And so Epsom salts have magnesium, which help to refortify your body. Your body absorbs them through the skin. So Epsom salts are a great way to do that. If you're doing a foot bath, I personally would do probably half a cup to a cup. If you're doing a full bathtub, I would do 3 to even 5 cups of Epsom salts, that just to get that really soaking into your body. And of course, that's great after workouts and just a long day too. So that's a really great way to start getting water back into your body. If your body's not into it, maybe test to see if your body wants cooler water, or again, just the foot bath is a great way to do it. So next is, so Lee says, so I don't drink, thank God. I do find the nettles idea interesting for the green coloring. I will check out one of your future casts. Yes, the green coloring, I personally have not used it yet because I don't color a lot of things, but I do cook a lot. So I would personally, that's definitely what I would opt for. And yeah, good call on not drinking a lot. Hopefully these remedies will help those who do look forward to imbibing a bit. So the next remedy that I would really recommend is turmeric. Turmeric, for its main ingredient, curcumin, has become very well known. It's obviously an active ingredient in the cooking spice combination of curry, and there are many different variations. And turmeric is really good as an anti-inflammatory. So definitely when you're experiencing a hangover, your body's in an inflamed state. It means basically your body is cranky. And that's a very non-scientific term, but I think we can agree that's basically what it's saying, is not liking what happened. And so turmeric in particular has been studied and is known to really calm down the body. Now, especially if you're not used to eating a lot of curries and stuff like that, there are different ways you can take it. If you go to your health food store, your local health food store, actually all the supplements that I mentioned, you can find typically in your health food store in this section. So I would look for, you can find typically supplements that just have turmeric in them, but you can also look for a natural anti-inflammatory remedy that would be like a headache remedy that would also have a few other herbs in them. And of course, with any of these supplements, even though some of these are food-based supplements, if you're on any especially particular medications, you'll want to check with your pharmacist. Especially, turmeric and the anti-inflammatories can also be blood thinners, so you'll want to check if you're taking those blood thinners as well. You may not want to exacerbate that. But check in your natural health food section for turmeric, the chlorella, spirulina, and the chloroxygen. You're almost guaranteed, and the Epsom salts, you're pretty much guaranteed to find all of those, which is why I also kept it simple to these tips in particular, because I wanted to be stuff that you could easily find in your natural health food section. Even at your local market, a lot of times you'll find these. So, lastly, so I talked about water, alternating water, green fruit shakes, turmeric. Okay, lastly, wow, I blew through this list faster than I thought I would. So afterwards, when you're recovering, make sure to spoil your body, okay? Your body just went through a heck of a lot. Especially if you experience any kind of hangover, your body experienced a lot of really, quite honestly, trauma. So make sure it has all the ingredients that it needs to help repair what has gone on. Any of the ones that I mentioned before are very, very helpful. Making sure that you get lots of leafy greens, in particular, vegetables, and fruits, especially in the berry realm. Not necessarily ones that are all sweet, but you definitely want as many fresh fruits and vegetables as possible, is going to help a lot. It's very important, and especially when you consume a lot of alcohol, it actually depletes your body of certain vitamins in particular, like zinc and the vitamin B vitamins in particular. So that may be something to look into also, while you're in the health food department, grab a vitamin B complex and make sure that it's a whole food based vitamin B complex to make sure that it's the most bioavailable is what I would recommend. And that really helps because, again, consuming alcohol really it sucks these vitamins out of your system and really taxes your body because it has to detoxify your body, and it needs these nutrients to actually detoxify your body. So make sure that you're supplementing your body, again, with those supplements. So again, water is very important. Water, I think, is the most important because it's actually the river that helps to filter out any of the toxins that have entered and are exiting your body. So make sure to drink plenty of clean water. So lastly, I'm going to address the body types. And as any of you that have listened to me before know that I love the body types. There's so much to learn and gain from the body types. And I'm just going to give a little highlight here. If you're curious about which body type you may be showing more signs of, just go to weightfreewellness.com and you'll see a pop-up there to take the body type quiz, which is short and fun and very insightful. You'll get several emails that follow that actually share with you what are the foods, habits, and exercises that help each body type to feel more balanced. I put in a little bonus there that there are some tips on how to balance each body type that are a little bit different. You'll see how different body types interact. Hey Carrie, good to see ya. So it's really interesting, and I'm going to try not to make this a body typing podcast, although it is really my passion. Two fire types, imagine fire coming up to fire, you get this big fire, right? And earth and the fire, they really balance each other out well. So with that, taking the quiz, you'll also get those insights. So I'm also going to share what you will see getting out of, so how does each body type interact with alcohol, just to be honest, okay? So the earth type, again, I'm not going to get too deep into it here. It's for another podcast, but earth types are really social drinkers. They love being around family and friends. And so they really have a great time. If you say, hey, come on over, we're going to have dinner and some drinks, bring your favorite wine, whatever, and they have a really good time with them. Now, each body type has their balanced state when they're in balance, and each body type has their out of balance state. Each of us does, okay? This is normal. This is not something that I'm trying to label people, okay? We all are either in balance or out of balance at times. This is not a judgment. It's just the way life is. So there are earth types too that when they're having especially difficulty in life, especially when it's difficulty with family or friends, they can really dive into a deep depression and really use alcohol as a way to escape and really hide from their feelings. So again, I'm not going to get too much into body typing here. This is just to kind of do a little highlight. Now, fire types, okay? Fire types. This is really kind of funny in my book. I have a different sense of humor, but fire types can be in the Guinness Book of World Records for competitive drinkers. Okay, that's a joke. You get it? But it's totally true. Fire types, very dynamic, fiery. They like competition. So they are the type of people, so beware when you're out partying for St. Patty's Day or whenever. They are the type that will start up the drinking games. They are types that will dare you to start, drink this, try that, one more, you can do it. And then all of a sudden you're blacked out and you don't remember the rest of the night. So those are the fire types. Spot the fire types in your life. And if you don't want to be blacked out for the rest of the night, know who they are and make yourself your own competition and say, I'm not going to compete with that. I don't have to meet that challenge, okay? It's just the way fire types are. We need fire types in our life. Now, fire types are also the type that can be the most competitive with themselves. So they can be really good career alcoholics. And so they are also typically the person who's reached that point who says, I'm totally off alcohol, no more, nothing more for me. I could go on and on about this because each type has their characteristics. Again, I don't mean to paint anyone in bad colors by any means. We all have our own traits. To me, as an observer, these are just the interesting things that come up. Now, here's one that I can definitely relate to, and I'll just be real here. Air types. So we have the 4 elements: earth, fire, air, and water. And each of us identifies with one primarily and 2 secondarily. I'll say this: we all have each of the 4 elements in our body type makeup, but we really relate to one mostly, and we have a secondary element. The other 2 kind of trail behind. I have a lot of air type qualities, and the air types definitely enjoy a break that the alcohol can bring them. So if you're an air type, I think you can totally relate to this. Having a glass of wine or whatever is your favorite can help you to just your mind to take a break. And that definitely is the case for me. And the challenge is, again, each type can have their on and in balance and off balance moments. An air type, if they're out of balance, they can really start to rely on that drink to help calm them down. And I was just about to get to some remedies, but I definitely have some ways around that that can help. But that's just something to be aware of. Water types, it looks like it didn't make it into here at the moment. I have my notes here, but that one got deleted for some reason. Water types, though, they, similar to the earth types, really enjoy being around people. So the water element is very social. It's very emotional. And so they like being around their family and friends and emoting and having fun and being a part of those festivities. So similar to the earth type, when there is conflict between family and friends and so forth, they can also have that experience of going into more of a depressive state. And so it's important for each of the body types just to be aware of when they're in balance or out of balance. Again, it's worth saying again, with Weight Free Wellness, this is definitely a health and wellness website, but I'm absolutely not here to lecture. I think that life is meant to be lived, and when we can live and support our bodies, that's really helpful and important. Definitely work in your yoga classes and your meditation, and drink lots of water, support your body. But in a moderate way, also have fun and support your life. So that is really what I have to share. I think what are some really practical ways to help and support your body, whether it's St. Patty's Day or any day that you're going to have some extra fun and festivities. Support your body on a daily basis. And then whatever you do, whether it's extra hard workout or you just have a stressful week, if you're supporting your body in general, it's going to be in a better state to be able to handle those stressors. Again, whether it be the heavy workout, a stressful day at work, or a couple of drinks on the weekend or more for St. Patty's Day. And, have fun. Live life, have a great time, and, a positive attitude. And I think just a loving, positive attitude, especially taking care of your body, is going to go a long way. So this podcast is going to be up probably within a day. I'm trying to get it up before St. Patty's Day yet, because a few of these tips might need you to take a trip to the grocery store. But in general, have fun, take care, be safe, definitely over these festive holidays, and take care.